Hello people, Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to give you my predictions for the NFL for week 14 of 2012. First game, Oakland at home versus the Denver Broncos. I think this one's a fairly simple no-brainer one. I think I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. They are on a rampage right now. Peyton Manning and his team, they're obviously on a mission. They could be one of the favorites right now, I believe, to come out of the AFC. And Oakland, I mean, the Raiders are the Raiders right now, and I just don't really see much in them at this point. And as of late, they've just been really a lot of just lackluster effort, and I think this team has done everything but giving in this season, and everything but focusing on draft pick for next season. So I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. The next game, Buffalo at home over St. Louis. I'm going to take the Bills in this one, and the St. Louis has been playing very well, exceeded expectations. Jeff Fisher's everything but phenomenal coach, I believe. I think he's one of the top 5 coaches in this league, and he's going to get them ready for this game. The Rams believe they have playoff hopes right now and possible playoff aspirations, but I think Buffalo at home, it's an unfamiliar team for the Rams, and I think Buffalo is good enough, and they're going to have enough, especially offensive firepower, to kind of counteract the defensive play of the Rams, and I think we'll see Buffalo Bills win this one. Next game, I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals over the Cowboys. In this game, it's essentially a toss-up, I think. Home field advantage is with the Bengals. Bengals have been playing very well, or I should say the resurgent Bengals, and I just believe that this team right now, they're trying to make a postseason run. I know Dallas isn't well, but I like Cincinnati and their offense just a little bit better right now than the Cowboys. Cowboys, they're notorious for their self-inflicted wounds. I think turnover battle is going to go to the Bengals, and they'll win the game as well. Next game, Cleveland Browns over the Kansas City Chiefs. Cleveland right now is not really, they don't seem that bad. I think I can be safe to say to maybe even call them a mediocre team. Where Kansas City, they did win last week, and a lot of that I think was attributed to the passion and heart they played with, to playing for their teammate that had died recently. But I think in this game, Cleveland is at home, and I think they're good enough to win against a team that's only hasn't really played well this season for all intents and purposes. And Cleveland and their defense will come to play, and I think they'll emerge victorious. Next game, Indianapolis over Tennessee. Indy is at home. I like the way they're playing. I love Mr. Providential, lucky Andrew Luck. Gave him a late game, had some late game dramatics last week, and defeated the Lions in the process. And I think Indianapolis keeps going. I think they're Tennessee is in kind of disarray. I don't know who they're going to be able to beat anymore, and I don't think it's going to be Indy this week. So I'm going to go with the Colts. Next game, in Minnesota at home against the Chicago Bears. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings at home in this game. Chicago, to me, seems like they have some deficiencies. This was a team, I looked upon as a strong home team, and I thought I should have defeated Seattle last week, and they didn't get the job done. And I'm looking at them, and Brian Urlacher is going to be out, and I think that's going to impact them tremendously. And they have to go on the road against a Minnesota team that has exceeded expectations, and Adrian Peterson. I think it's going to be a tough go. I like the Vikes in this one. Next game, Tampa Bay at home over the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, the Eagles right now are the 3 H's. I refer to them as hapless, hopeless, and helpless. And I think Tampa Bay, has been playing very well. They are at home, and I think they're good enough to get the job done. The next game, here's a toss-up. Been basically Mr. Ambivalent on this one. Washington Redskins at home and against the Baltimore Ravens. This one in the past could have been, presumably a no-brainer, most people picking Baltimore easy, but Baltimore is on the road. Washington had a very impressive win last week against the Giants, and Washington seems to be rejuvenated with that quarterback they have, and Griffin III. Seems like he's very smart, articulate. He's a very hard person to defend. And as far as trying to stop him from running, he's basically, he's almost like a running back / quarterback. And I think Baltimore's going to have their hands full in this one. I'm going to take the Redskins. I'm going to take Baltimore, but it's going to be a competitive game. I think Baltimore wins by maybe 3 to 7 points. It'll be competitive, but Ravens I think will still pull it out. Next game, I'm going to take Atlanta on the road against the Carolina Panthers. Atlanta right now, one loss. They're arguably the best team in the NFL right at this point in the season. And Carolina, Cam Newton, I don't know if he's, if there's a sophomore slump going on or what's happening with Carolina and Panthers. But I think right now with Atlanta playing the way they are, I think they're pretty safe to go with them. Next game, Jacksonville Jaguars over the New York Jets. This is a game between two, I know, this is not grammatically correct, but I guess we could say lower echelon teams. And I guess the tie is going to go to the home team in this one with the Jaguars. The Jets, I'm a Jet fan, and there's other fans that have given this team some praise and accolades over their win last week. But come on, they won 7-6. And is this quarterback for the Jets? Are they going to choose the guy that finished the game, or what's going on? There's still kind of an identity crisis, I think, and you have that going on the road against an unfamiliar opponent can spell bad news, and that's why I'm going to take the Jaguars. Pittsburgh at home over San Diego. I think San Diego is everything but done for this season. Pittsburgh, if Big Ben comes back or he doesn't, I believe that Pittsburgh still is good enough at home where they can defeat this team. I don't really see San Diego really doing much in this game, and I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. San Francisco 49ers over the Miami Dolphins. San Francisco had looked like a little letdown last week in losing to the Rams. I think this week, though, I think they redeemed themselves, and I will know they want to make amends and atonement for what they for their poor play last week, and I think they're going to be amped up in this game, and I like them over the Miami Dolphins. Next game, Seattle Seahawks at home. I'm going to take them over the Arizona Cardinals. Seattle, I was looking at them earlier in the season, and this seemed like everything but an impregnable defense. They, the safeties and everything, everybody was really, playing well. I know they won last week, but to me, they don't seem, on the defensive end, maybe not quite as good as they were early on in the season. But however, they are good enough. They're gonna, they're trying to make a postseason run, and they are playing the Cardinals, and I think that says it all right there. The Cardinals can only muster 6 points against the New York Jets, so how can they really muster that much more against a team that has a much better defense than the Seattle Seahawks? So I'll take the Seahawks at home. Next game, I'm going to take the Giants, the G-Men, over New Orleans. The Giants generally don't like to lose consecutive games under Tom Coughlin. Yes, there is a much bigger disparity in their record in the second half of the season as opposed to the first half. This team is notorious for struggling in the second half under Tom Coughlin, but they are at home. And the Saints, although they're good, they're not great. They're not the team they were, last season and a few seasons prior to that. Giants, they know this is a very critical game. They're only one game up on the division right now, and they need this game very badly. And I think I see the Giants to come out with some urgency and win this game. And I don't see them becoming complacent in this one. Next game, Green Bay Packers over the Detroit Lions. Green Bay, I think, they're a team, obviously, by their record. They're not as good as they were last season. However, Detroit Lions aren't playing that well right now, and Green Bay has been playing better. They are at home. Green Bay is the division leader right now, and I think they're going to, make another step toward winning their, second, I guess, division title in a row by beating the Detroit Lions, and I think they get it done. And last but not least, I guess this is almost by consensus or unanimously the game of the week. The New England Patriots, I'm going to take them reluctantly over the Houston Texans. Houston Texans are a very balanced team, only one loss right now, I believe, 11-1. And they're arguably the supreme team in the NFL right now. They just had that one bad game when they lost to the Packers at home. And, you know, this is a barometer game, I think, for both of these teams. They can see where they're at right now, you know, based on their performance in this particular game. I'm going to go with New England only on virtue of their, you know, experience of being, you know, an upper echelon team and perennial contender for the title for so many years, and they are at home. I think Houston's going to make this a very tight ball game, and I expect this game to, you know, probably be decided in the last 5 minutes or so, and possibly even the final possession. But I'm going to go with New England Patriots in a tight one over the Houston Texans. Well, people, that will conclude this segment for my NFL predictions for 2012, week number 14, and I look forward to seeing you back again next week for my week 15 picks. And until then, people, stay well.